in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia, and these are twin towers, and these are the tallest buildings, the tallest twin tower buildings, one of, I think, if not the, in the world. Kuala Lumpur does have its fair share of high rises. You could say Kuala Lumpur is one of the most developed Muslim cities in the world. In fact, you could make an argument that it's the most developed, probably right behind Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Doha. So where are we today?
We are now at Masjid Putra, one of the most iconic masjid here in Malaysia actually. Okay. And it's just located beside the Prime Minister's office. And alhamdulillah, we get the chance to pray in the masjid, right?
Yeah.
How do you find it?
It's beautiful. Let's take a look at it a little bit.
What's interesting about this mosque, they receive about 10 to 20,000 visitors or tourists every day. And most of them are non-Muslims.
So this is Putrajaya Mosque. It's the most famous mosque in Malaysia. Very beautiful architecture. I'd like to know more about where they've been inspired from, because it looks like a mix of different areas of inspiration. Very interesting. Huge dome. They do the mosque tour here. You can see over there, all the details of the architecture. Very interesting. We're about to start an event here. We've got the main man, mashallah. We've got the brothers here. It's behind the scenes. Yeah, they're announcing the champ. Mashallah. Hi. We're in Malaysia right now. Yeah? You see how tall I am in this country? Huh? I'm taller than usual.
It is.
Oh, come here.
Oh my God, look at this.
Okay, so we've got Brother Lim, mashallah, who's the director of the IDT Center, one of the big centers in Southeast Asia. If you look just at the Quran, you will get the indication that you can have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. The reason why it's haram to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old is not found in the Quran at all. If you just read the Quran, it is halal, it would be halal to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. Chapter 65, verse 4. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us who you can divorce and who you cannot divorce. And then he says, وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَ وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَ, and the ones who had never been pubescent before. And by the way, this is very important, yeah? I want all Muslims to be aware of this. The reason why we don't have sexual intercourse with 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds or whatever is not because of puberty. Wait a minute, what did you say? It's not because of puberty, because that verse in the Quran actually says لَمْ يَحِدْنَ. They never had puberty before. You can't go around that. The Quran doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that the woman has to be pubescent. I dare you to find one verse in the Quran where it says you're not allowed to marry someone based on harm, or you're not allowed to have sexual intercourse based on harm, or you're not allowed to marry someone based on puberty. Get me one verse in the Quran which says the woman has to be pubescent. No. You know, in the Quran it says حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ. It says you're not allowed to marry your mum. It says you're not allowed to marry your sister, your auntie. Where does it say you're not allowed to marry a prepubescent? I'm looking for one verse that you can say, you pinpoint it and say this is where it says prepubescent marriage or whatever is not allowed. So if you're Quran alone, you're steered towards pedophilia, and a severe type of pedophilia, a wife abuse, a severe type of...
I'm telling you now, they're going to turn on you.
Okay, let them.
Islam will turn on you. The same people will turn on you.
Summary.
Summary is this. Summary is this. There are little girls today who are dying today.
There were little girls a couple of thousand years ago got murdered.
Summary, he just admitted that so long as his God says it,
there are little girls today who are dying.
Killing a
they're
child
dying today because they're following the example of your prophet.
So it's okay.
Your prophet married a 6-year-old girl,
who went on to be a
had sex with her when she was 9. Did Jesus do that?
Okay.
Jesus
commanded to kill a child. Right?
Jesus did not marry a child.
So you think that having sex with a 9-year-old is justified?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that so here, let me ask you a question. Okay, is the problem with
I'm asking you a question.
Well, I have to frame it. Okay, so do you have a problem with child marriage because you think it is categorically wrong, or is it because it's conditionally wrong?
Well, I'm asking you the question.
I want to understand what your understanding is, because I think that the Prophet, peace be upon him, his marriage to Aisha was at 9 years of age.
21.
So do you think that I don't think that that's wrong. Bride, and this is the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Do you know what precocious puberty is?
Starting puberty unusually early. Like,
is there anything in Islam that prevents you from, a man marrying a 5-year-old that started precocious puberty?
You can arrange a marriage even as an infant, but that doesn't mean that sex is allowed.
Could a man have a marriage to a 5-year-old consummated if she started precocious puberty?
If she starts showing signs of physical maturity, then yes, that's permissible, as I said.
What about age 4?
If there are signs
3.
So this is something that becomes biologically impossible, because procreation,
I have a study that shows it goes as early as 11 months.
Well, that's something that the parents would not. The thing about Islamic marriage is that parents are involved at these ages, and when you look at the marriage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, when there are signs.
So the question is a very common one, and that is that many people, non-Muslims and sometimes even Muslims, are perturbed that how come Aisha, our mother, was married at a very young age.
That it is possible that she was older. It is also possible that she was 6 at the time of engagement or 7.
You find some so-called scholars.
I graduated from the Islamic University of Islamabad with a master's focused in hadith.
So-called scholars making these estimates based on some other evidences. It's like for example, Aisha, in one narration she says, I was engaged at the age of 6. In another narration she says, I was engaged at the age of 7.
Sometimes she said 6, sometimes she said 7.
That shows there's a difference of opinion, and therefore we cannot trust anything.
But did she actually know her age or not? Allah knows best.
So that's what they say, that's what they do. Subhanallah. And they bring the weakest of evidences to prove to prove that she was 18. So for example, they'd say that Asma bint Abu Bakr, who's the sister of Aisha, was 10 years older than Aisha.
Asma, the older sister of Aisha radiallahu anha, she was 10 years older than Aisha radiallahu anha.
Okay. And that she was 100 years old when she passed away in the year 73 after Hijrah.
At the time of death, she was 100 years of age.
Prove that Asma was 100 years old. Can you find Asma saying, I was 100 years old in this year, which I'm about to die in? You can't find something like that. It's based on a historian's logical guess, a guess. And this is put ahead of Aisha saying, I was 9, in multiple sources, according to multiple eyewitnesses. Yes?
Some people, they say that Aisha and particularly that age or that time period of history, they didn't have proper accounting of the years, and so she couldn't have known that she was.
That even Ibn Hajar and Tabari, they were not able to produce exact ages of when Aisha was born. Now it's very important to understand why. The Arab had no calendar. Even today, even though we have calendars today, every country has a calendar. But even today, those of you born in other countries, if you ask your grandmother, how old are you? She'll tell you, well, I don't really know.
Okay, so would Aisha, so the question was, they didn't have proper years or ways of counting the years.
The Arab had no calendar.
Well, first of all, they did. They could count the years, and there is a lot of documentation of years at the time. So first of all, that's not factual. Would Aisha make a 9-year mistake? So that's just that. That's the answer to that. Would she make a 9-year mistake? She didn't know what her age was. And by the way, that's not the opinion. That is not the opinion of people who disagree with us. They don't say that Aisha did not know her age. They don't say that.
So she might not have known her own age.
They say that, the narrators made mistakes.
There is no weak narrator. There is no ilal in the wording. There's no grammatical errors. We say the hadith is sahih. Aisha radiyallahu anha said this, no doubt. But did she actually know her age or not? Allah knows best. I'm not discussing this to apologize for anything.
Oh Muslims, don't apologize for the truth and don't distort the truth. There are Muslims that try to deny this. Oh, he didn't marry Aisha as a young girl. Ya akhi, look, that's not the way forward. We don't lie for the sake of our religion. Astaghfirullah. We're not going to cover up the truth if people find it embarrassing. This is the reality. Deal with it.
It's mutawatir evidence. Her saying, I was 9 years old.
Our Prophet ﷺ married a young girl.
And we are proud of this.
And we're proud of that.
Who had never been pubescent before.
In his commentary on Surah 65 verse 4, Islamic scholar Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi states, therefore, making mention of the waiting period for the girls who have not yet menstruated clearly proves that it is not only permissible to give away the girl in marriage at this age, but it is also permissible for the husband to consummate marriage with her. Now, obviously, no Muslim has the right to forbid a thing which the Quran has held as permissible. If you are a Muslim watching this and think any of this is morally wrong, congratulations. You are a better person than your God, a better person than your prophet, and you've just become an apostate.